Hey everyone, Dr. John Burroughs at Springs Aesthetics. I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're there, can you kind of wave at us, make a quick comment so we know you're there? That's how we're going to determine our winners. So right now we're going to talk about non-surgical skin tightening, fat reduction, and face and neck lifting. And these things actually really work. So while we're going through our talk, if you see this come up, that's when we're going to announce a winner. And we're going to have 3 giveaways. We're going to have 2 chemical peels that are going to be a giveaway, and we're going to have a 3-month supply of our customized skincare, The Dose by SkinCeuticals. Amazing product. So here we go. We're going to cover thread lifting. We use the silhouette lift here. We're going to talk about the My Elevate Suture Neck Lift. I believe we were the first or second in the state of Colorado to offer this. And we're going to talk about the energy treatments for face and neck lifting. So let me see if it'll advance. There we go. So the silhouette threads, these are great because you walk out of the office with a result as soon as they've been put in. It does continue to improve for a few days, but its longevity is shorter than surgery and some of the other treatments we do. So typically 1 to 2 years on your improvement, but I know of nothing else that you can get done and walk out and look like you've had a lift. So they don't have any downtime. They do take a while, 45 minutes to 2 hours. We do use Pronox, laughing gas, because you do have to have some little tiny shots. It's not too bad, but the laughing gas helps you. And these are done by our nurse artist, Melissa. So the areas you can do with the thread lifts are like as shown along the mid face, the lower face, the neck, and even the eyebrow. So I'm going to show some results real quick. Here's a thread lift done on the neck, and you can see nice improvement of these bands and wrinkles right here. That's how she walked out of the office. Here you can see nice improvement in the lower face with the parentheses and the marionette lines and less dimpling across this area. She was ecstatic. Here you can see another improvement. Sorry about the difference in lighting, but even if we could get this darker like here, you'd see the remarkable improvement of all these wrinkles and ridges down here. Walked out of the office just like that. Here you can see another one that had improvement of the parentheses, the nasolabial folds. Thrilled with her result. Okay, so our first giveaway is going to be a chemical peel.
Everybody drop and say hi.
Everybody drop and say hi so we know you're there. And my wonderful teammates that you can't see off camera here are going to tell us who the first winner is.
Yep.
Lynette. The first winner is Lynette. Watching live on Instagram.
Is this Lynette Nygaard or a different Lynette? Or?
She's just Lynette on
Okay.
Instagram.
Hey Lynette on Instagram, you're the winner, okay?
Lynette, send us a private message.
All right.
Tell them it's worth $200.
Yep, it's a $200 value chemical peel. So congratulations, Lynette. All right, we're now going to talk about My Elevate. This was developed by a colleague in Beverly Hills, Dr. Robert Mueller. I was skeptical at first. I talked to a couple other colleagues at meetings where I was teaching in different parts of the U.S., and I was told it was legit. I researched it, and now we're doing them. This is one of the things that we're the first or second in the state of Colorado to do. So this is kind of what it looks like. You make all these little marks, and that's the pattern of the suture suspension that's going to go underneath the skin. These aren't threads. This is a thick suture suspension, almost like a hammock or a web to hold things up. So basically you make little tiny holes. You don't even have to suture them closed at all of those 8 spots, and then you pass your suture underneath, and you do that with a lighted rod, which we'll show in just a second. This is just a device to make the light rod pass through easier. The reason we use a light rod is because it's going to help us be at the proper depth, and the light tells you where you're at. If it's too yellow, you're too superficial. Too red, you're not in the right spot either. So there's just a happy medium. So I thought this was going to play quicker. Let's see. There's the suture rod. It passes through. Everything's numbed up with just local anesthesia. Most people are going to have a driver home, but you don't really have to be sedated for this if you don't wish to. And there's that lighted rod I was talking about. So it's kind of a complex passage, but that's why it works, because you have this canvas canopy underneath that's going to hold things. So this thing's amazing. I'm going to show a few results now. So this is a lady about a month out. That is like a surgical result in my opinion. You can see the angle she had here in her cervical-mental area and now how acute it is. And it actually helped underneath her jowl just a little bit. But the main improvement comes right along the neck. And here you can see another view here where her bands have been reduced. When you're passing the material through, you can sever these bands without outside incisions by the way you pass the suture through, kind of like a jigsaw, and it gives a nice result. And downtime is minimal. I mean, a couple of days. You don't want to work out or stretch it too much for a couple of weeks, and swelling and things go down very quickly. Now, this can also be done with the neck tight, which we'll talk about later, to give nice other skin improvements besides just redraping. Here's a nice lady that had this done. She also had some liposuction done with it. Again, done in the office. You don't have to be put asleep for this. We have great anesthetic techniques now that you can do these being awake but relaxed. And you can see she was unhappy not only with the submental fat and the angle and laxity she had, but she also had this band underneath, a very thick, almost like a fat roll there. And by pulling things up and with the liposuction that was done, it gave a really nice result. Here's another angle where you can see that. Now, she's still healing, so she's going to have some continued tightening that's going to occur. Here's another patient of ours. She was thrilled. We may have her talk here in just a second. She's here visiting with us. And you can see this aging, lax, prominent fat neck that she did not like. And after a small amount of liposuction and the My Elevate suture pass, that's a great youthful neck that she's felt like she just never had. Here you can see another view. So now her chin is back a little bit in this photo, but even if it hadn't have been, she would have had this sagging in this area here. Cindy, you want to say anything about how it was?
So I am just thrilled with my results. I work full time. I have 2 little boys in elementary school, so I didn't have a lot of downtime to be able to do any surgery. And it's still healing, but as you can see from start to, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, I'm loving it. I wasn't home very long. I healed over mostly just a weekend, and then I was right back at work. And I'm just loving my jawline. I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah. So thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
So the comment I made, again, you can get a little bit of improvement along the jowl area, but the main emphasis is the neck. And one thing I failed to say, this is a long-lasting result. You know, the thread's 1 to 2 years, 2 years at best. This can give results of up to 5 years. The surgeon who developed this in Beverly Hills has had some last, you know, upwards of 7 to 10 years. So it's an amazing procedure, and it's going to be a huge part of our practice. Okay, we're at our giveaway number 2. This is going to be for the customizable SkinCeuticals dose. You get a 3-month supply with that, and it's completely customized to what your skincare needs. There's a very elegant computer software that you go through what your skin concerns are, what kind of skin type you have. It calculates it and then mixes it right in front of you, and then you get your container, and it's a 3-month supply. Do we have our next winner?
We do. We have a Facebook viewer, Dima.
Okay. Hey, Dima, congratulations.
Send us a
So Dima, send us a private message, and you're gonna love Dose. It's very neat. And
With
after your
$200.
yeah, $200 value. And after you start it, if there's a shift in your needs because of improvements it makes, you go back through the computer algorithm, ask easy questions, and then it sometimes is adjusted as you move on. Okay, so now we're going to talk about skin tightening, more with the radio frequency, but some with the laser. I still do CO2 laser, and we find it safest, and you get a nice cumulative effect by doing a series of 3. So you do have to have 3 downtimes, but it's much safer as far as pigments and scarring and discoloration changes. The results can last several years. It's more customizable than the radio frequency, but for darker skin types, it's not going to be appropriate. It does not affect the fat, and it does not tighten to the same degree that the radio frequency will, that we're going to talk about. So our radio frequency we use, as far as the more aggressive, the Morpheus system. These little micro needles go through the skin up to 4 millimeters deep, eventually up to 8. And it delivers energy even a millimeter beyond the depth that you set. So the nice thing about it being customizable, if you have real prominent fatty jowls, you can go to the maximum depth, increase your energy a lot, and you can actually shrink the fat in addition to tightening the skin, all without surgery. The results can last 12 months or more. We do recommend a series of 3, but they can do more frequently, say about a month apart. And the healing and downtime is very quick with the Morpheus approach. Usually on the order of about 5 days, you may have these little microscabs, no big deal, whereas the laser can be 10 days or longer. So here's a nice quick laser result, and she did seemingly get some tightening, but it was more the improvement of these deep vertical lines. But you can see in her recovery here, you got to go fairly deep. You're going to have redness for a while, so men don't prefer this technique, but women, once the skin is resurfaced, can cover it with nice makeup that we can make suggestions and have some available here at Springs Aesthetics. Here's another nice result. You can see she almost had that raisin skin appearance and the nice improvement around her mouth through the use of the laser. And she got remarkable improvement. Now, for those kinds of results, she would have redness for up to a couple of months and, definite resurfacing healing over 10, sometimes 14 days. But she was willing to do that, and you can see the amazing results she got. Now, radio frequency is kind of the newest technology out there for resurfacing, and we at Springs Aesthetics was one of the first to really start doing this in Colorado. I think I was one of the first few to have this technology. We use InMode because I think they're the safest and the best out there. When I started with them, they were a relatively small company, and because their technology was so good, they're becoming one of the biggest and best. So we use multiple devices by InMode for the radio frequency. This is the hand device for the Morpheus. I should call them macro needles instead of micro needles, since they can go 4 millimeters and develop energy up to 5. Eventually the software will unlock it actually up to 8. Now you wouldn't do 8 in the face or neck, but for the belly area, thighs, things like that, you can get very powerful with this. This is the face tight handpiece, which will show some amazing results in a minute. It's all done through little just small IV sized ports, and so there's no surgery with this. And then the AccuTite came out in the last year or so, and it's a smaller version of it for areas like right under the eyes, lateral brow area, but it can also be done in all areas of the face, but typically it's a more localized area. So here's a lady that had radio frequency resurfacing, and you can see the improvement of these deep lines that she was unhappy with. Now also you got tightening, and you can see how this area was more prominent and less prominent now. So laser works on the wrinkles and lines, but it doesn't tighten near as much as radio frequency, and that's why we wanted to bring that into Springs Aesthetics. So here's another nice result. Look at those improvements with these lines she had here. So the other exciting thing about the radio frequency is they are coated needles. So you can do it on any skin type. I've even done, African American skin and up to what's called a Fitzpatrick 4 because of these coatings. And you can't do that with laser. So it's amazing. Here's a nice improvement around the mouth with that kind of raisin skin. Here's an amazing improvement for this lovely lady's lower face and crow's feet area. It can be done for acne scars and even done acne occurring, and it can help actually reduce that outbreak as it's occurring. Totally safe for that. Here's a nice result with that macro needling with the radio frequency by InMode, the Morpheus. And you can see even tightening. You can see how her jowl was dipping down here. She didn't have a facelift. She just had Morpheus done. Now, Body FX is also by the InMode company. This is not done with needles, but basically a vacuum through this kind of toaster looking device is applied to the skin, and it pulls the skin up where the fat is and it heats it. Kind of like cool sculpting, but it's with heat. And actually, it's better because you're not going to get scalloping, and cool sculpting doesn't tighten the skin like the Body FX will. So, again, I apologize. Her neck is a little bit back here, her chin, but she had an amazing improvement. Now, it's not a one and done. You got to do it once a week. It can take a half hour to 45 minutes depending on the area you're treating. And it takes 6 to 8 treatments, and then you got to maintain it, not for the fat removal that's occurred, but to keep the skin tight about once every 3 months or so. Skincare, as I mentioned here, is important, and we have products here that actually work to keep the skin tightened once it's been improved. So the face tight, neck tight, those are the ones I showed you with the little probe that goes underneath the skin. Everything is anesthetized with a very safe dilute anesthetic, and so it's quite comfortable. So I wanted to show a brief video here showing how that works.
Oftentimes patients are looking for a more significant solution for their face without the need to undergo a full facelift. FaceTite opens the category of minimally invasive solution by offering a solution that provides a facelift result without the large scars or downtime. The FaceTite procedure uses radiofrequency energy for internal fat lipolysis and external collagen contraction for small body areas or the lower face, neck, and jowl. RF energy flows from the internal cannula toward the external electrode placed on the skin's surface.
So it's very safe because it measures the temperature outside and underneath.
And tissue impedance. The heat generated around the cannula tip coagulates blood vessels and liquefies fat to reduce post-operative pain, bruising, and edema. Uniform RF thermal exposure aids, smooths, and evens contour results. Thermal contraction of fibrous septae and dermal collagen results in immediate contouring, which continues to improve over the next 6 months.
So a couple of things I want to add about that. I've been doing these for over 4 years now. I was the second in the state to get this. I got it. I trained with the other doctor who had it. And then we've been doing those for over 4 years now. And it is amazing. It, like the Morpheus, you can dial up the energy in the appropriate areas of the face to really shrink the jowls, or if you have prominent nasolabial folds here with fat right here that you want to reduce, same principle. By increasing the energy and how much you apply, you can do that. Now, I do believe it's important to do this with a surgeon that understands facial contours, because you don't want to get, it works so well, you don't want to get scalped areas over the facial tissues. I'm going to briefly show one of the cases we've done here, just kind of real briefly so you can see it in action. And it's not wanting to start. Maybe if I go back and then come back. Good morning, everybody. We're doing a RFAL neck liposuction. So I'm going to talk over that because I'm not sure you guys can hear it. So those audible sounds that you're hearing they tell you when you're getting to your temperature threshold you want. If it gets too much of a temperature surge, this thing is so safe it just automatically cuts off. I don't have to be listening for it to cut off and take my foot off the pedal. It does it automatically. Now, again, I think surgeons are best at this because they understand facial contours, they understand where fat is supposed to be, and where you can actually treat the fat that you don't want to be there anymore. So this will tighten the neck tissues. We also use it in other areas. Now here's a nice result. She had a little liposuction and then tightening with the neck tight.
And her after on the right. Here's another patient that had a combined facelift with neck tight done to remove the excess fat. And then this patient, believe it or not, only had face tight, neck tight without any surgery.
So I don't know if you could hear that, but that last gentleman had no surgery. This was all done with the radio frequency. I think that's an amazing result, and because of the safety of it. Now, I mentioned earlier you can treat it in other areas. Bat wings can be improved. Male gynecomastia can be improved. Thighs, belly, lots of areas outside the face and neck. So here's a nice before and after result you can see. Here's the neck tight result, which we showed just earlier. Now, you can see a nice improvement along the jawline right here and her neck. That's without surgery, I promise you. It was only the face tight and the neck tight. Here's another one with more improvement of her neck, some along her jawline. She was very thin, so you don't want to go too heavy or you're going to cause those contour abnormalities that are not aesthetically pleasing. This person was unhappy with their more prominent fat here. You can see the nice improvement. You can see the nice improvement of the sagging there. And you see how her jowl dipped down here? Look at that now. No surgery. I didn't mention these results can be up to 3 to 4 years. I have patients that I see back for follow-up for other things and they're still holding their results at 3 years, and I have a few at 4 years. Now this gentleman did not like his his pre-cervical fat underneath that area, and so we did a small amount of liposuction here in the office and then tightened it up with the neck tight. You can see the nice result on profile right there. He was thrilled. He didn't have to have surgery and he has a result that's going to last years. Here's another nice improvement. There was peculiar neck contour abnormalities and remarkably improved there. All right, we are on our third giveaway. It's going to be another peel. Get our music going and our logo.
Worth $200.
Yep, a $200 chemical peel in our spa. And do we have our winner?
Yes, we have a winner. This is another Facebook winner, and that's going to go to PJ.
All right, PJ, private message us, and we'll get you scheduled and arranged for that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, PJ.
Woo, PJ.
We love new people coming in, or folks that have been coming in and they win something. It's just really special. So this patient also had face tight to help with their jowls. You can see her nasolabial folds. The parentheses have been improved, and she also had it done on her neck. No surgery. Here's a nice profile view showing that improvement. Here's neck tight from a front view that showed improvement. No liposuction was done here. We just turned up our energy in the appropriate manner. And like I said, I'm probably one of the most experienced in Colorado. Probably is not the right word, I am. Here you can see a nice face tight with neck tight result. See that area that dipped down? It's much more acute, youthful angle now. Here's a nice result of neck tight. No liposuction was done on this patient. Wow, tightening the neck here also helped her lower jowl area. So here's one where the lady just did not want to have surgery, but she had considerable loose, lax tissue that was hanging down. So she had a nice improvement. You know, surgery would have done more, but she didn't want surgery, so she was very happy with that. Here's another result with some lax tissue. Her skin was not quite as thick, so she got more tightening. Now, medical grade skincare is important. If you don't have healthy skin, you can try and redrape it, but the skin's not going to look good. and the results aren't going to maintain as long. So we advise taking good care of your skin, ideally even before you have a procedure or surgery, and certainly afterwards. And that's why most of our procedures, you get some skincare with it, so you start to take care of it. You want to protect the investment you've done. We're also here in Colorado, and the sun just beats up on us. And so all that ultraviolet damage just causes damage to our skin. We lose the elasticity, we get the pigment dyschromias, and we get the wrinkles. So if you're taking care of your skin with the redraping through either procedures or surgery, you're going to protect your investments. So basically, for those of you that have kindly tuned in, our event pricing is 10% off of these procedures I talked about. Now, you do have to call by noon on Friday and mention that you saw the event. Our number is 473-8801. This is going to cover the Elevate Suture Suspension System. That's the one that lasts years, sometimes as much as 5 years or more. The neck tight, the face tight, and the AccuTite. It'll cover the thread lifts done by our nurse. It also covers the radiofrequency resurfacing that I'd mentioned, which also, when appropriate patients are selected, can reduce the jowl fat as well as the fat right underneath the chin there. And then also CO2 laser series. So 10%, and if our winners haven't already private messaged us, please do so we can get you scheduled and arrange for that. And there are a few exceptions that when you call in can be explained to you. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Did I miss anything, my trusty team, that I was supposed to announce?
No,
So-
you did awesome.
Yeah, we miss having our events where people can be in person and we can meet and
Yes.
talk with each other and drink and eat. And those are always fun, and I get questions that can be asked. I can answer any questions if you guys want to post it on your Facebook view or your Instagram. But I want to wrap things up too. So if there is a question, I want to answer it. Do you guys see any just yet? All right.
We're good.
Well, everybody stay safe and healthy, and we want to help you. And if we can, and you ever have interest, just give us a call. That's 719-473-8801. We love our clients and patients, and we want you to love your results. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dr. Burroughs out.